it is official. The Detroit Pistons have officially parted ways with Stan Van Gundy. Stan Van Gundy is out of Detroit as a head coach and president for the organization. Listen, guys, this needed to happen. All the fans of Detroit, everybody, even the team members were tired of the Stan Van Gundy era. Now, I speak that bluntly clear because when you have players meeting with the owner in regards to Stan Van Gundy's coaching style, that ain't supposed to happen at all. But listen, as a president and head coach, Stan Van Gundy has made a ton of moves. He was able to bring Blake Griffin to Detroit. However, there's a lot of questions on that trade because the Pistons gave up 2 starters and a first-round pick. The Pistons don't have a first-round pick this year at all. And he's kind of brought the organization to the opposite direction. Like, he didn't do better than Dumars at all. Like, the organization, with all the moves, with getting Marcus Morris, Ersan Ilyasova, then shipping them out, bringing in Avery Bradley, letting go Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. I mean, I could keep going. Bringing in Tobias Harris, the trade that sent Ersan Ilyasova and Brandon Jennings to the Magic. All those things, and you still can't make the playoffs. All those things, and you get swept out in the first round by the Cleveland Cavaliers. All those things, and you're just not a successful organization being the president and the head coach. There's no excuses. There's no excuses at all. There's no question that Stan Van Gundy is a mastermind of a head coach. But let me tell you something, guys. He has gotten into it with players. Tobias Harris didn't want to play for Stan Van Gundy no more. A lot of people don't know that, which is why it was so easy to trade Tobias Harris. But near the end of Tobias Harris playing in Detroit, they got into it. They didn't see eye to eye. There are times where Tobias Harris would be sitting on a bench when he shouldn't have been sitting on a bench at all. You know, there's times that Andre Drummond has gotten into it with Stan Van Gundy. And Stan Van Gundy has a history of getting into it with star athletes. Does Dwight Howard ring a bell? So, honestly, like, there's no question that Stan Van Gundy is a good coach. But when it comes to relationship with players, I'm telling you right now, and coaching staff, I'm telling you right now, Stan Van Gundy lets his pride get in the way. He is a very emotional coach, and he holds on to a lot of things. And I've seen it firsthand going to the games, sitting right behind the bench, and seeing how Stan Van Gundy talks to his players. And when it comes to drafting, when it comes to developing talent, Stan Van Gundy has not done a good job at all. He hasn't. Stanley Johnson has not developed into the guy we thought he would become. And also, we passed up on Devin Booker that year. Kennard hasn't gotten the minutes that he's deserved. And look what he can do. I mean, you have to develop players the right way. And look who we passed up on that draft. Donovan Mitchell. I mean, we didn't do the scouting report on Kyle Kuzma, who went later in that round. So, it's no excuse. You're the president and the head coach. There's no excuses, guys. No excuses. So, the writing was on the wall. The owner, Tom Gore, even said that it's time for a change. And it is time for a change. It's time for a change, especially now that the Detroit Pistons have moved to Detroit. And it's time for Detroit to start winning. It's time for the fans to start coming back to the city and going to the games to watch Detroit play now. The stadium has been empty. Little Caesars Arena has been super empty. And they need to sell tickets. But You would think that bringing along Blake Griffin would help that, but it really didn't. It really didn't, guys. So, but I'm going to tell you right now that Stan Van Gundy's out, there's a lot of coaches out there that are legit. I mean, my favorite, Mark Jackson. Please go out and get him. One of my other favorites, go out and get Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd is a legit coach too. But if you don't end up getting those guys, look at a name like Jerry Stackhouse, who's been doing really good in the G League. Look at Mike Woodson, who's a proven coach. And look at your coaches like Frank Vogel and Jeff Hornacek, who are more of your traditional coaches. So you heard it from me. My name is Maurice Lewis. You can follow me on all social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it. Let me know what you think about this video and the firing and parted ways with the Detroit Pistons, Stan Van Gundy. I'm out. Peace.